Well, Sir Unya, one of Africa's finest in terms of being a Ghanaian and a gospel musician, or Tujuma,
handsome guy.
I mean, him Ukraine or Tujuma.
I guess, baby,
Eguno.
Yes, baby, we're Ghana. Here, you made me an Kakanka.
Yeah, that's it. So,
South Africa is a himful.
At the
so I never big deal, sir. Ghana for baby. So, then the for baby, yeah, and yes, so and you Joe, Black Joe, no, Black Joe, no, Black Dano cried, who to treat in a cry some of them come. And think at your movie to say, we'll move fast way. Get you back way, eh? Come on, you're domestic, I can't see a crowd at here. So, one under call, I know for South Africa for
okay.
When I'm Johannesburg, I saw what in New York.
No crew, so
because I'll be a coffee here.
No crew, so of course, or South Africa. No crew, so where South Africa.
Yes,
Af Kenyasi.
Makai, the African, have Kenyasi.
Af Kenyasi, yeah.
Yes,
Ofusha, Mammy Fusha, or pray.
No, Mammy for sure, eh? Oh, yeah, I'm Pedubu, a four-side boy behind the call. Baby, I need to imagine. Yet, Tim Peterson. Yet, I want to. Yet, we are a catcher. We are a catcher.
When you crown and Yassam, or say, tea, or say, a boy beer, the deco baby, Nashum. But the children, I don't know. What did you call it? I don't know. Men pro, we are man the baby who see what. Wow, man, be to be man. You see, or say a boy beer, the deco baby. Nasumye
Ebejuno.
I saw seen the was it was the Dutch made Ebejuno. Okay, my Miss Megan channel.
Yes.
Firstly, so.
Yes.
Funtu funemfu. Funemfu.
Yes.
I mean, some of your back.
Thank you.
I don't know what the no pray.
Thank you.
Catch up, Dumame.
Well, man. You
will be the best.
Yeah, yeah, man, yes, come on, South Africa, so better you no cry. Yeah, you met me, was so hard to do.
Obidia Mano.
Oh, yeah,
Ukrum Pete. Or you know,
Ebika. I before, Dano cry. Adam, your former sports presenting. Adam, what's you before Mano? A chill off. What's a sort of. Oh, dear, besides, sends my phone yesterday. Here, Brother, you haven't got a cool. To hire South Africa could do one.
So, Yasaba, Adom, or the China brother, 9th of April 2019 at the Trading Ponyankoponas. This is the ultimate. This is the ultimate, though they can continue. This is the ultimate TV show, Badwam, on Adom TV, Multi TV. So we don't mind Nana ya brefo atnase. And of course, I know I'm saying after me presentation. I'm not happy because it's like Dogbe. Yeah, because PDS. PDS in Como Bidi or so.
Well, share
the BBC.
One more dot here.
Yes, the BBC in terms of that contract, you know. So if what transpired on the Kusi through the president should revisit matters on the PDS. Because just say Obidi monitors. Obidi 6. Ebitimi 9. So any assembly appear through in relation to PDS ownership, all those things, I think the president should go back and look at it because they're very important, especially when and again, when you are appointed into public office, deceit, dishonesty, lies, it should get out of you.
And
because and yes, as on mine. It's very important, especially on matters of energy, power. Again, it should be Namgana for me, it should be a and Shahansa, and meaning say and credit, but in Fonina Baba said, Nipe binimo to anamon, say Boapayum, Sadrobena, a de gas, a code de bano, one question, but for Insucasia, and I'm a man to and I can see a man, that's the night that you move. We now back as of mine. Now, no double say nature, Anna, a pylon, see, and once and by Nasa will be a cotima. We first trend the city quiet. That is a major installation in Ano, Yanya careful. Nipe binumo, and na me di minister no ya bro ko dan na ni kokeka kasakoa ne nyoma ensem fata e de ko kire NDC
amani ya nkan me ne se
nyoma na so let's because yenya sa nyoma ne ko pem se me kase ye be hwenkan ne aye de sese ye because
clearly omo kwa kwase pipe
when I say and me tie criticism no it can't be true
God punish them
then me omo di mfoni na Ghana taxi ni car number je chire ba what is happening so it's the question of there is something fundamentally wrong. Until then, I mean, urge all of us to be part of the exercise, both physically and spiritually. Because there were so far so much to say Ghana, your modia, into your mobile empire, Ghana. You are so far Kukudam. You are so far to say a Archbishop Duncan Williams. You are so far to say a so for paying pa radim any be penas and bunipa Bishop Ajinasari. You are so far to say Otabel. Yeah, me am so for Apostle Salasya there. Sa so for ahudu ni nyina na mo ebra so say mo be ka boom. Mo be ka boom. Na fe the Ghana agenda making sure Ghana moves ahead. Na yeah, physically no. We also have to attack it from the spirit. You cannot leave out that aspect of it. Unfortunately, yeah, the enemy say in Yame, the incremophone sorry, Christopher and sorry. Traditionalists so and sorry yen come mom as one unit force nyame ba ko no yen pia Ghana nkodu nanim na Ghana pampa be free mobile because clearly we are too relaxed. We are still in our comfort zone. And then I started this thing. I said that after 27 years yes 1992 to Enano Pamenoka said the description I'm giving to Ghana, and I said this on a consistent that the description I'm giving to Ghana is like Accra Kumasi Road. From
25 years.
27, from 92. Ghana is like Accra Kumasi Road. So look at the pace at Ghana. If we don't rise up to prompt ourselves and pinch ourselves like President Kufuor Kayana, my team who came was the president. It's a 7 year drama my Ghana. We are dead.
But necessarily, we are not saying say, yeah, so that's all what we are saying.
We cannot say that.
There hasn't been any improvement. There has been
the pace,
but the pace needs to start this movement.
And then we also glorify a lot of Nyoma and Semfata because, for instance, Kumasi Accra Road. Yeah, I mean, say you need to do 5 years and only 10 years. Because there you be a new sub. Yeah, the Kotwaba. Yeah, the Kotwaba. There you be a new Bibia. Sarah about you, Kumasi, and who's to cry in tea because Sarah about you must say at the cost of wine. Yeah, at the say inconvenience. A lot of things. Every choir organ be say yeah, you water was for the ECG for the other stakeholders and plan it together. You check and there you say, oh my. When we are Basabi Chakwan, Nipe Bear say waterfall, say telecom phone, never. This is the country we find ourselves. This is the country. That is why nobody is held responsible for anything. Oyebibia, Ufawudi, now Kosa, Keke, and until the power ministers, energy minister, better to a papa, so actually, when still the matter we're experiencing is doing so. That's the problem. That's why politicians, the autism, you know, but who question on more, and it's a problem. For instance, the Meteo Department of Ghana, Meteorology Department, for 17 years. Abanko, no Aban pay attention to that department. But we expect them to put up. But for Miss and Johnny Crano, but for any other pay a mini briefing, I didn't know that a nay or want to anamo monya in Fidia. A man yes, can quite no more forced to do a can I met you and nay young woman for sure, dear. I said, GBC Papa, into an idea. Stephen Akotekwa. So, sir, Yatinahoy and Shahines are over 70 years, such a relevant body like Meteorological Department. Young Fiomo. Now, or mine, Opasokase, young coffee, So let's forget you can decide to be part of the NPP and the NDC, but you should make sure the Ghana factor is on because you cannot run away from that fact. But enough of that partisan ruler you're taking and partisan position you're taking. We have to make sure Ghana will succeed.
Still ongoing.
And a typical example.
They say
a typical and the past and gardens coming so much this year.
That way for can you force another part you play.
And the park. Yeah, because it's shameful.
Ayo mo time one na kope park dey yama nkoda ayo mo time
for Sutherland Park. The park is yours. What is it about this park?
Nothing.
After 27 years, we still want to get room for agrodie in Semunuka Edidi attempt after 27 years. Is that what we still want to continue to do? No, we cannot do that. We cannot do that. And you need a public office, whether in a position or whether in power, we will continue to subject whatever you do to the best of critique. Say the bear boy, I mean, it's matinasi because Mr. Johnny made tinasi. Now, we are manual some more tinasi. Now, our bosoka or tinasi. That is the better Ghana. That's all because you are just here. And now, the boy. It's so simple. I just and then yes, I be doing come for insure a year for Ghana over years. And now they were among Kote and Opemanya Musa friend mammy. You know, for over 7 years or so, I'm in a paper didn't come. His argument about choir first was in crime. Any choir need that political will to change certain things. OBC dance issue kwanso. Okoka, I know I what is this?
Yet Chikro. Yet one you say a pejaba. What's this? Ufa motorway in Swa. Motorway, Kwame Kroma motorway. Left and right. Kiosk what different in Adaniko.
But somebody is responsible for that.
Oh, I think we're for cracking the kiosk.
Somebody is responsible for that.
Yeah, Nikonam Kwanos were you some motorway. And two Nam Kwanoswa. Food left and right. Yes, 6 kiosk. Quiet, Timo.
It will not get us frustrated. We will continue to draw attention and to make sure what we say will be actioned. Because yes, sir. Any baby, Ghana for the shower man and press on Baba Ghana better because no matter where you find yourself, you come back to this land. If you don't contribute, now say your intent is that. And that kind of mentality, say, any media, any say you be it's demonic. It's very demonic. Only in this country, and your press will be in cost. Brani Padman, I just all cost. Yes, actually, panic form. After 27 years, Ghana cannot boast of any big time business magnate. If I want from Omokrano, Moje, Zoom line, money, Ibrahim, if they tell you. You will not even try to become a businessman in Ghana.
Yeah, the politics
Let's be yes, say 27 years. Remember independence, 62 years. The Timaya say Ghana for this shape your bomb homodin. Yanka say a boa pejo makudum pempenswa. As I say pejo.
Not in this country.
Nobody will do that because Ukoyano, yes, when the color near and when the color near after 27 years, the country cannot boast of a being for Nisikafonia and therefore Papa we are here in Timmy Ghana phone call.
And I'm excellent. Juma Ghana for Dr. Setia Brotre, what to Amunka Juma Ghana for Ma, Adusia, and Jania, dear. Yes, we are here in the same country.
After 27 years, oh, you appreciate can you do na hospital, any plant, and ne Ghana. Say 27 years. I don't know. If you are not going to see it, you say, oh, mammy, say one casa offer at that hospital. Anna, no operation, can you do the torch if you're not saying, radiator friend. You see, how now we say, and your politics beam. The reality has caught up with you because I bet you only paid the enemy. ACC, if you thought baby can, I also said, I'm wanting and count. But you also,
okay, then we'll be a super.
Yes, you get the feeling.
You get the feeling. You are saying, now, my PMO contact,
yeah. Yes, you get the feeling. Into your casa. One day, Dr. Kumbo voice you mobo a asempa. Or see Debia that ye come. One day I'll be young over hospital, nurse no one, MPP NDC calendar, the two Unimshi were born because you found based on that. And all now but say yes, I am from so as of mine. What is this? That and then Obia responsibility is to make sure money is in his or her pocket. Obia responsibility. Issue cry pie or potem. Cane and Kahon preparing a year, a bequaco friend, a ya, Timemfono, Crow for Brono for fast year church, and they see any common and then a bet open show and a bucket, a fountain. You should be for what we GC from.
Oh, catch us had a
GC from.
Oh, Senator.
What I say? GC from. Yeah, GC from who? Say, young I am Moama, young Yanyo man, say for tiny said Ghana no intimate product. I bet maybe a corner pro. So we have to be fast. Fertilizer said, you go Ghana, as I said, double. Let's have back in just I talk from the grim. And I remember, frustrated youth sticking to alcohol and stupid lifestyles. Forgive me. But they are frustrated. What do? A hopeless, helpless country. A man, any sense of direction. Any sense of direction. Any sense of direction. So I say, yes, sir. Anybody, wherever you find yourself, you don't need to be in the public space. Baby, be out, find yourself. And this morning, Kofi Venyo, I visited him in Suryane, that's a disabled man. What he is doing in Suryane there. So I say, okay, sorry, you, Kofi Venyo. Good morning to you. Oh no, this is organic no man. Even in his state.
Yes.
Osha and Namoa. What now show my Ghana and Namoa ye tua. What you say? Jokes.
Agro we yeniso. Agro we yeniso.
So just here. And then we have no maybe to say town and country plan and Canada me and Papa Yagmo. Me just was on trucks grab.
No table na
Birth and death registry. Over corner office be a fear basic. Me call.
Those days. No,
birth and deaths, birth and deaths. Hey, now my I'm the frustration we go through in this country. Very reckless drivers.
Agent for it. What was this? Sikaya almost woman, miscellaneous woman, and then says Samson for migration, one more Samson. One way, Yasa, you had the paper brown more than that. No, that's one for the beyond why and times too much. Now go for us,
it's too much.
You
don't get it, it's too much. Oh, now she Ghana for Dua. Do na ni memuna a dream bonnet and a frustration and a hopelessness. Come. I didn't hear.
Come to Cabrana marching was a march.
The wolf swam just let me tell you, the wolf won't just Obi Chakwe money refin hokra unam di black cross. Oh Baba don't attention say hey unam kwa what would you asem it will be kai free the new material. Trotro drivers very reckless majority of them.
In Kala pass
reckless. Lawlessness at its peak.
The pass quite nayo samiensa or majime sabo so today be maybe na traffic was akwan so achimota de twemako malam.
Father
san ya be that memom dey do baby an meja to retwa so kasa na mabre because ukasa so kasa hama na ka trawaduna you never can make the debi what one will say was the Moami the Moami I is a bit examine as we tell her in dry a book and you wit they may try to grab him the
okay so you better must say a these opinions but
be a
another appeal to the gender ministry meaning so mono SSO mo yedia but I drink a me koswa de bia da meka Newtown nana afide nkula no omo treba bisi traffic here where say is serious.
What's this? No, why do you say my department? I'm because you can't who your mother? Who can't Dakuma?
There be Newtown and Quadana baby or Madam
Newtown.
Who's a
Quadakumai? Quadakumai, South Dakuma, Quanos, a PR so few of what's by
my goodness.
Quadakumai. Ha! As one more yash. No, as one more yash.
You see, before I'm trying to
want you. Oh. What are you saying? What would that mountain be so far one month, one more? Look, it's fine. This is I never do our own count as a master grow by any breast more. And then Qualagro. Or Pabia who you cray, or Pabia who you cray. kwabra ne fa hu nkola and you see the aya no so nkola ketenkete o mu fi bie o mu fi kumase o mu fi wo mu tete da kwa kwa ho ebi no anajo wu kofia no ma bebo ka ho madam anyumre mi nidi yo na nam se na ma me wei wo so wo hefa na me ma me kura wawu ye de mi ja me nana ye de mi ja me sewa tese basa.
Well, so let's make a conscious effort to save the lives of these innocent ones. They're so terrible. Yakwaba, yebebe twaso. Well, after the work at Tiffany Seminary, a major focus on the pay Bekwa Kujina Insua at Tobribia Dane Edinya. Na etimia period in Komahwe, the money basa, and at this time around, no, Yabeshe, Quine Befasua, Ibitimesia, no quine. They actually say, you two are no more bread, she said, and it may go a coin quickly, but
and after my show, Monqua, okay.
All right.
Am I been a prepare? Fire just of Payala Pamamintia, na Michiano, Jadida, Henry, Corey, Nidin, and no prophet. Now, what Teresa, he is risen. Concert, Ebebasu 21st of April. Na Ajimani Piero, Omiades. It was short of hunting. Let us say to me,
Fire Oja.
Fire Oja.
Okay.
Ajimani Piero. So, I'm questioning. Any Mammy Bois. Okay. So, for the UK,
okay. So, daily graphic.
My neighbors,
good.
No, baby, okay. Send my mere frame.
Okay.
I know my mere frame to see.
I was
see.
All right. Daily graphics say, well done. TUC tells government on economic management, calls for gains to reflect in lives, and 5 die in Sunday's Accra rains. All workers to contribute towards pension. Cabinet gives approval. Investment from Tumako to force anniversary.
It's the graphic difference here now. More so I say, and I more Action Plus Coil and insecticide spray was in a and tuntumo once now in Tefro, the be I tell you our demon quad Action Plus a dad bedroom wardrobes where beer spray for quite libis when they over now that's trouble. I'm a mere monk, but I'm a bombing choir. As a morning hammy analysis one near Manema equal 20 minutes who appear, 30 minutes who appear bonte, Obaco Banas and Beard and Aqua Dewa Dream fine. 0246 021 0246 021. I'm a scientific and alternative hospital. Yabako, Niakwa Jaya, efficacious, reliable alternative hospital. One more, a domestic flat here, Naklagon. From 020722 9505. Mammy da go by the Nupa, Eddie Abba Montesor, the Hiada Etman, the Hiada Abamesa, the Hiada Macho capsules, Eddie the Akeka home. See Montesor, Kashi, baby, I told Roby I own now Benyabi, and Coco Omwan in a day from 0242 046 783. Now, young Quanim. Daily graphic, the ID flash here. Whatever let you use for Siane, economic management team, Mo, any a Juma, the Amayabu, any of the American Kaye, Sanatia, and the Yabanasa. I can't but to TUC for Nakasay. Was it the Amayan in our economy? Must see a ye, Moman and but to me and Filiadiano. Yea, some of the Atuja. Was the Anchakra, a post for Munina ye. Hey, more a national fire service here, Musmunina ye. Be an Afonina ye. State contribution, maybe Tiam, the Momo, the Abine channel, and they are buying the Komu won't you? 8 years shine on the aqua cabinet here. Or Mosha wants some air. I saw your phone call. Mona, because when they say I buy so better. Nipanum, Dano Cassia, then see a try, and I'm firm of Monquay.
The Ghanaian Times say government sets up body to respond to earthquakes, VIP, Kasani Binuno. And after Sunday's heavy rain, setting up a body does not give solutions. Over time, that's how governments have been dealing with that.
Yeah, said to committee. Baby and crack, I know, who be someone, who may be a diato.
After Sunday's heavy rain, Meteo predicts more downpour, advises public to take precautionary measures and translate economic growth into improving living standards. TUC to government. 3 die after downpour in Accra.
Eti ehun se nipa ni enu mo se me ensew e won krate mo Ghanaian Times e de to aso Paul Edusipoku Asare Utrack Savings and Loans Obuase ene e wa woda happy birthday to Wadiaba ya wo kire se tamse da no ensu eto nipa miensa efrimo wo kire se TUC fo se adwuma amayo no ye na emom emra ebotom ena afa Matthew fo kire se ensu eto ne ye afa na ebeto de mu odene dan po no de se be ne ntini ye so etedua mu ye ne hwe na ne manko ye na nkofo hawo ene abebrese afa mrega na fo nyina da ye nsem a ewo times mu.
Well, quickly, engineer Wise Ametepe, registrar Ghana Engineers Council. You don't have to train, come on. Mr. Ametepe, I don't know. Machi, good morning. Apom to say. Okay, so Mr. Ametepe, yes. Good morning. How are you? Hello, Mr. Ametepe. Which one? Okay, so engineer Wise Ametepe, good morning. Good morning, engineer. Well, quite unfortunate.
Now, when fear you're watching 85 years, Dr. John Glover at Wood, feared you're watching him, Yamisha, sister, so Dr. Nia, oh boy,
after 85
years, yes. 85 years. So yeah, we Juma and Yamisha Papa.
The Chronicle say Kokombas call for fair reportage on Tripoli and minority snobs Lydia Al Hassan. Sad, but she can't do anything about it. We can't produce sperm test results. Police tell court over medal of GHPA.
The parliament will want to have one now. And I'm uncle to her.
A common shame.
I know to
a common shame. So, and then she said,
I have victimized the woman. You have victimized her while you're about Mungai. Oh, your body. I was watching you who saw her Mungai. And that's the area when I MP. What I see in parliament, or be I speech here, where we are my cramming Miss Yanado, Miss Yanada, or be I speech here. Obi a chiro ma dwe wi minority for some nkasa na yeden chronicle ne dey to aso me ma wo mo Lydia Hassan say that no world health a day ya wo kwa ekwe speech minority for say dom mo nkasa munyai ya chronicle dia ba betudwa na akwa mu a arehosem ahomtesem asie ene say Ghana Port and Harbour Authority oba ba kwa na so wo mkum no asem no kopie mo kwa to asem no kra ba ye say wo mususu say obi ne ne ayansa Emma sperm wo ho ewi ase sperm na yira sperm sample dey kwakwa to ehu baby afa ya no so akwa ahom te sem e tete ho say ya na aye basa says don ene ne wo so onya wo mama ne girl mra kwa prison ho no fa ne kakra abufu sem akwa ne tete ho wo krom ha wante hwe yes wo no kra so wo mpega na lawyer po wonya international wire e bebo ano na me say nya force bia
daily guide. BOG upgrades banknotes and 5 dead, 2 missing in Accra flats. MPP saves $7 billion in Mahama energy deals. And suspect sperm swaps missing in GPHA murder case. All set for World Meet in Ghana Investors Forum.
Delegate, also Unia and the Professor Esiama Wonkande, and I would happy birthday to Mauli. Your director was say Hosu Isaac. We are English teacher. Ewo Hack Mount Sinai SHS. Ekropon Equiapem. Happy birthday. Ekwama papa Era Georgia wana permit chow. And yet some DSTV answer. The friend ran home. Yamisha Mati on your mwanka. Delegate there twaswa and Crawford say honorable fellows of Osukati. Woman says I want to fantasa. That's in the fantasy bad and that's some kitwa. Honorable Martin. Now, I got the other Bank of Ghana. One more upgrade, the no so no, who you am see. When yes, can be no more pay. Yes, in bank note to no that no one more share at the pin near said the bear will be for Quantiqua so and Quantiqua and Cocoa one way, one more aid the pin. That's one more the same note no, and that's so much of and one more you more. I dear been what? I dear been a demnoa, 50 gun a demnoa. Eya na omo papa mu no ni nyina omo hwe no ma ahanse ene adeade and na ye na Dano John Boadu General Secretary ma MPP what say energy oba panyin da John Dramani Mahama na breso na ban 7 billion bia wo mo contract bi wo mo na ahwa atumi save 7 billion nyasa aka 2016 we be di president ya ka 7 billion ni na wo ba be di eye sema John Boadu
okay ye kwa so engineer Ametepe Ewo Ahomane so or registrar Ghana Engineers Council. Engineer, good morning. Apom to say.
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you too?
Good. Just a straight question. What's the challenge we have as a country towards this, I would say, the usual ritual of flooding?
Well, the ritual flooding within the country is as a result of, as you say, our inability to manage the flood system within the urban areas. Yeah.
When you say our inability, with your background, whose inability? Who is responsible for that inability? And why have we arrived at this inability point?
No, flood management consists of several options. And so far in the country, we've been using virtually one option. That is the opening up of channels, lining up of channels, which is just one option. We need to change the paradigm from only opening up channels, looking at integrated form of flood management. What I mean by integrated is to look at how to deal with the flood upstream, to detain some of the water upstream, how to separate waste from the channels, and how to look at early warning within the basins.
So what it means is that Ghana has been used to one out of the many options in terms of flooding. Is that the case?
Yes.
Okay, so
that's what we've been doing so far.
Okay, so
but there is a need for us to change, to add up a complete, to make it complete flood management system that I've just enumerated.
You give your prescriptions or solutions to the challenges that we face, but before, are you able to tell us whether the council set up purposely for engineers and engineering, you have major say in some of these major contracts that the country has?
Well, I should say the Engineering Council is pretty new. We were just set up in 2015. We are now going through the stages of preparation of the engineering regulations, which we have just done, submitted to the ministry. The ministry has subjected it to stakeholder consultations. Now they are repackaging for submission to Parliament. So when this is done, then we will be properly equipped to be able to look at all engineering aspects of the country.
I see. So now you don't have that capacity for you to be on various projects that government is doing, even though you're qualified, but you're going through the process.
As I just said.
Okay, so give us
new.
Okay,
and we need to have certain measures put in place before we can begin to, let's say, bite or work.
I see. Okay, so then the prescription will do now as a country.
Yeah.
What would you prescribe for us? Because it keeps happening, it keeps reoccurring. And all that we hear and see is committees being set up. It's, plans are far advanced. It's in the pipeline. These are all what we keep hearing as a country. Now, this is your field. What do you prescribe amongst the options for us? What is your prescription that a year by now or by this time, Ghana comes back and it's not going to be the same mantra of celebrating what we are supposed to avoid?
Yeah. First of all, let me say that flooding is a natural phenomenon. You cannot completely deal with flooding. At least you should be able to manage it so that people can adapt to the situation. As I just said, you see that let's take Accra, for example. We have the Adom as the main flood-prone area. Within the Adom basin, we need to identify potential areas where we can store the upstream flows that are, the Adom takes its source from Abri Hills. So we don't have to allow the whole flow from Abri Hills to descend onto the city at the same time to meet what is being generated within the city itself. So we identify areas upstream, store some of the water. We also identify areas within the community where we can store water. We also prevent people from increasing the level of pavement within their homes so that the homes themselves can also store some level of water. In fact, when you get to some homes currently, especially the rich people, you see that the whole house is paved. You can even see your face. If you look on the ground, you see it's a reflection. It shows that every water that drops in the houses are allowed to get into the channels, which is not the case. You don't design channels to take every drop of water. So measures should now be put in place to make sure that at least some level of water is stored in the homes so as to infiltrate. We harvest, rainwater harvesting, we store water at sources, and then we also add up the maintenance of waste, which we throw into the drains. These go to nullify the efforts that government will put in place to even provide infrastructure like drains. When you put a drain and you allow waste to flow into the drains, the drains can no longer function. First of all, the floating materials go in to block the channels at most points as the covered point, and they form localized flooding. In fact, if you look at Accra, most of the flooding that we have are basically localized flooding. Mm-hmm. You see a point, there's so much flood. You go to another place, there's no flood or very little flooding, but all on the same water course, which is as a result of our inability to manage the waste that we generate within the city. So we have to look at it integrated, no longer looking at it ad hoc. When we take ad hoc measures, we don't solve the problem, we rather create problems.
Well, in wrapping up with you, there are arguments that the whole structure at Circle has certain defects that does not help flooding. As an engineer, if we are coming from that point, what will be your take on it?
I partly agree with you and partly do not agree with you. Partly agreeing with you in the sense that when the Circle interchange was being planned, it had its own concept, that is to manage the traffic flow within the Circle area. So they provided a flyover, they removed the Circle, that's runabout, provided well-paved areas, paved roads for vehicles to flow fluently. But the other component, which is the drainage, which is the Adom and the Nima. If you look at the flooding in Nima, most of it is being created from the Nima inability to get into the Adom channel. This component was not made part of the road project. Mm-hmm. Apparently, there may be two agencies looking at road, one looking at drain. So there was one agency looking at the road. It was that agency that came in. But there was a need at that time to see how the two agencies can put their heads together to see, I'm solving the road problem at this area. You come in to solve the drainage problem. But it will all boil down to funding availability. If the agency for roads has money for the roads and the agency for the drain do not have the funding at that same time, then it becomes a problem. One agency goes ahead, solving its problem, leaving the other agency's problem. Unless that other agency, which is tackling the road project, gets funding available to be able to solve the drainage problem at once, which was not the case when they were doing the flyover at Circle.
All right, Engineer Wise Ametepe, good morning, and thank you for your time. I'm sure we'll continue to have this discussion because it's...
Thank you
so much.
So, just a miracle. And I am a home, send me who says, I am Bogos country. Bogos country. Other than that, you can then say, any people. You need to be at sir. And I find I am a human. As a man, friend. See, I tell you, border, one. Yaka was some of the Biaka to go by Sabasan. Ye nim san no eye odo ensuo yi a no so kwabrane ya so oye no so de betwe ho man so ne the government of Ghana e de atale ho na hwan enu akuro ya na asa abase enti odo no na entimi yes enti odo
exactly so politics will kill us. That was Ibrahim.
What a nonsense country.
Nana That's a akojina a circle. Young Korean Korean is the aftermath of a year. The akoso. Nana Martin.
Siada nsuo toye ema nananom akuafo ebu awuruse no da nyankopon ase se no baye ebeso no na wona wo circle ne nimpotem so ebo bena esane se nsuo bucket ba kokora ye hwegu ntense dan so na se sofo mu a anse japade a na efa nipa nkwa ede akọ na so bedu circle la ko se da bra nsuo no toye na ye se hanyina agi nsuo na nse da enye wanwa esane se ubedru ha underground gutter na nke da nanko wasanka nsuo no efe ediagua any bola hudu e wa na chese nsuo no eto a na yesa atwen bola no nyina edi awura gata ni nti nsuo a nanko wo se efa gata ni mu enya de a afa gata ni mu bu afa so ama nipa hudu a e wa ha no omo ho edi a kirom hwe bola esum ha na yesa nsuo eyesa nei eto a na yesa sa bola we nyina nsuo no batwi ni nyina edi awura gata ni mu nti akoba ne sa na se nsuo no twi gata bola no awura gata ni mu a na nya de a nsuo ankasa ebetumi ewure mu nti eba ne sa na ebu afa so na afa nipa ene ejapade ahodo edi etukwan na no de da yi to openyi a wono owa ha no ohunu de esiye no ye no ebedi nkomo na yahwe se edi import ankasa ena kosiade uzu se nsuo no to ye no ekoma nsuo no eyire fa so a ha nyina aka se wa ha ene ejapade ewa dudu na eseye.
I mean, one thing I made to me because time now I'm overhead, you know. Fly over now, many drivers no be here, Cassie. I said, got I almost got no. Because since British time, underground got a pick 1 hour and 1 hour herself. I choke it for no one before I next chemist. And I choke, and this one to me, and then you are not because old gutters in one. Esan kombe overhead omun drink omun tun omun drink tenum na got an ye free me first way na ma always a choke no na one thing so over run about no am kuma second no e say ho no on say ha no akasa I to say baby nso any wo nti esan ka omuma street omuma so nkosro before the overhead oh nti omuma so nkosro since one tower no enter because I was slow. The son say we're down for man when na when ebano.
Nti kwasiada ebransuo no toye no na papa ewa ha uhunu nia ekoso ewa ha nti yepese ebisa se na no kwasiada ekoba ne se nsuo toye a ha nyina yiri ye no na drivers ahodo a omwa ha na mu ye dwuma musumu na mu ye bukuma na mu jiji sika de ma ban ne no ma no edi on how pot na de brem sa kwasiada no.
Hey, it was terrible because ha nyina ye ma and na me try say on ade away ekwase pepe ha nyina nti man omunya adwane ebinim ko provide no top for here cause met ma ko nepa nti kasem bebre as and be train ebinim free akọ nti say me anu me se gata no na e problem
na unsusu se uhwe baby aye kan ya bola ye tai we a unsusu se bola no so kan we bra amudi bola egu we se nsuo to na se betwen bola no nyina e dia wura space kitwa na aka
bola no wonu en yamom na so bola no every day bia on be fa what me say every morning bia on be sisako sisem wa aka kakro on be ba be sisako enti me feel say bola no do baby wonu mo ndie enye nso enye bola no ndie dia nachi
nti sa na agwagosi wo seka nti uhwe baby a Kwame Nkrumah statue no ewo pe so fani mo nyina sia nti uhwe station no still a ehwafo a asensuo no eta baby nkakra agi se wia atumi abon ne pa ansana eho nyina atumi awo enu nti aha na kwasiada no nsuo toye yiri ya nipa hodoɔ ene nipa na enam ha nyina omuka atumi ka mu a ekoba ne se wo se nipa tumi sim ne ye pia ansana ka no atumi akɔ nti o ma he no wohwɛ
Okay, so
but I can be you be second quan and shoot it or ya a flooding. And yes, second quan. But overhead fly over come say. Now said the engineer okay, ya and should I nima a dinner ye bet me a year near be a macasiana and show to me a faho. Na to me near walk say water as a hollow at Tom Cacrantiana and should not bet in a while. Yana hunting. Okay. Send a man is casual and yaquay query. Wow, that's a dinner the Yanka one. Near Jesse, you really acquire a second nation, the near side, aqua block quine. Now, yes, I have seen a 2 dinners, the bazaar.
Okay, so that's it.
My dinner crowd overhead for free or we agree. And also, problem or a horse problem or
dinner.
New way, yeah, now we have a camera go swallow problem or well, a horse is your toil, a unified swap. Now for a castle, one move baby, I'm for almost off one road.
Well, so that's it. Ne Fapim said, ye didn't come in and Kaya Primudia collectively, in Yabeboa, ama intimate command said that's an Asia the same time. Yeah. Young call man, so Dr. Michael Tenu, Director General, Ghana Meteorological Service, our man, so Doc. Good morning. Apom to say.
Apom you now.
And yes, such as one of the useful, important entities of Ghana. My checks over the time about the department, HS a lot of things more lucky. So I'm wondering how well you are equipped now. I'm moving to me abwa ama my Ghana the needed predictions in terms of rainfall. Esana etiana.
Canada net is a because your equipment be a boy and party. The ocean and saying a forecast, because I banned to Yama. Read the beer or my twist come on repair. No, the Edwin crab, Brofon Biffy, a Brutraba, a Juada Abbey. No more be fix it. Now, you're saying your equipment be so a boy, ye to me. I did a view sacrifice no at Jantino and Tissa first no not as you near my at TBI or more or what do you my part to met you Tissa first now can you send a net to know.
Okay, but Fachami, so do we take the Metro Department serious now?
Yeah, some of BBI serious because if you are now fair and say grow there, your forecast now they are spot on. You know, your forecast be I said, what the year, Juma, because say the year, Juma, a bit to me, Abwama, say a year, near my ACC, a bit to me, a funk of 4 and Quania, dear no, a super brassy. Pa.
Yakoya Nimino, I am out of so say, a free a year met you for no. Motion from Moshe Musua, a fee, if any Busumi dada enemy, insurance 7 Becosing. Trisha, I say, and so took the Munia one. Na April so the other year April May June the year na pa but the coast to me I say we fee a middle belt what I say asantine what they ba in Crane Cape Coast near almost insurance mum there I don't know any say and no so to send a pen no mum and nothing to say Nyadia is a union because you between and so say be a beton a beton at the chain. The toss are 2 days by Yana times and Yana Yasaka home because got us no Yana to the Magum near the Antino. And men soon in your baby fat. Because as you sit down war and so crown sontino, Ayana Davet, na ama a ye, and soon in your baby for say bushing and nam sass to me crossway. But if you're not there, and soon be topper, say be a focus be a bit to Jabiano. A month from something, no more financial, never boy. Well, and to whom we are this year, no, northern region and should be Nakasipa.
It should be Nahopa, but middle and coastal belt never talk. And nobody there is a ordinary normal rainfall and a little bit a normal. Into the end, they say, it's sure to do one there and new to say, send a union, a Fibia, but and no interest and talk, send a may catch him sense because. And yes, you don't do one in here, but the mum said, but to a sodo. And now, na, and then a bit not on that or china, you do ka yina esusuo time na ese ai se ko June mu ho no because nam le wo tia June na enema tashi sa 2015 ho no se June na sa normally that time June July wo ese very very careful ho na ye na yen to nema ngu gotanu mu mloko na enkoso any problem bia amaye.
Well,
question then she to na heavy downpour and I say normal.
Okay, Director General, Doc.
Yes.
Question that issue to and describing saying heavy downpour and I say beyond this there's another heavy one I'm going to description be mano.
Question so that trend and yet too much of a heavy downpour.
And yet too much.
Drainage system no you know and I mention no buswa efa a coso sa trouble no.
Okay, but
you need my horn na who's a drainage system in your papa and I say about more than na say yes I na say ni munasisia nso ka kebe betubiano e betumi ebusu na fe na nam kwan kwan no so dia den na e betumi akoso a lot of trouble abai.
Well, me Musa say apart from daily updates, I understand some of them no. Me timem you know, me number bibia me timenya an alert system on my phone to indicate that insuo no ebeto e was abia we and onam hana se okwa and upia patro careful is insuo beto and I say a we bebopa more that alert system no.
It will be better and not so man kofunya and as you say, a senior absibia, yes, and kofobit to me alcohol. Now, the best is a bit to me and see for name. Other Aina and I say, you bit me a bibisa, no, be bit to me alcohol, and I can say, be alcohol. Now, what to me and you, but you see, there, nearby is normally at the fire radio phone, so I say, Momo so. Now, you're there in the mammo, but it should be a warning and yeah, an update. Update to the Ayana, and yeah, you bump it down at the end of send a buy no. Update na a warning, but if you say I'm thrown to the money, but I say, yeah, quite new idea. I say to me, Relia Absibia, as a will be a bit to be alcohol, to say, accurate and my dear on their bano. Not a boa in because what are they probably good into Obiania to Obia to the Abon by her. And Kofa, I be a same.
All right, look, but that's about you seem to be so much upbeat about technology. I'm sure, say, Oba adopt new ways of technology. I will met you on them just to make sure say Ghana for this ritual. Actually this year in Yapadi and in Yama Bibrino a 2 chakra and a minimum minimal idea. Yeah, that's it. Look, that's Ghana Meteorological. Is it service or department? Yeah, on the end didn't come on. It's all about a year insure nano dato and near a different beam. A idea. Akoso na yesipo as a mind say it will not move beyond this barrier. So about say I feel disposal now apart from Yeshubano yenna you committee says Zoom lion yenna na say era just from just I think another there was another fear that yes me try am say na one as you man another one shows the another call on Shell filling station. Yeah, okay. Or another one. Okay, so so the likes of area Zoom Lion almost contribution towards fighting waste, Moma also in some because it's very relevant. Obiaka aspect we are the other best show me should buy any disposable. Yeah, so it's very relevant. Yeah, it's very relevant.
We should support everybody.
Never talk about engineers and planners because last is it 4 years or so now area Collins down a local government. That's how I got in touch with him. You know, that was when Utu and Namon said opposite or this or door whatever. And the same thing I've been saying over time. The politics of Ghana and a train in Abidjan this time. Yes, I'm back to this time. So that's how it is. But yes, sir, yeah, sure, sir, that's a ebidin commoners in Swata. These challenges across the country again. Na yaba and common shots yanisa, but Mamenda Newman for say Onugusu Yanima Papa Omicron of Kenya say DC or SUT North Anthony J. Mensa. Newmont 4, yeah, yes, a 68 bed capacity. Newmont 4 ISO. Omaude Kase Sophie Abofom na Onebe Kenya. Yeah, Kwada Hospital, and it's very important. Yeah, Konanoda and Kola Hospital, Kuhu, Obed de Kuhu, Swedro, yes, Nanya the Papa. So, the Newmont Fasi, and Yada Mr. Nyako, also, yeah, that was Asafo, I have minister, my uncle, Nanoda, or no, Newman Sharon, and Thai man, yeah. So, area Bobby, Regional Mr. Bobby Thai, yeah.
What says the time, best time, they say you yes, also, now a common inquiry, and let's try by Sima,
yeah, Manus Pizza and Choba.
Yes, also now, yeah, now you're more, na yenti ball and you just said to ball and we are